500 billion. Does that number even mean anything to you? It is so astronomically high that it almost feels fake. It just sounds make-believe, like made-up doubloons. Now, me being the turbo genius I am, I can process that number. In fact, it also happens to be how many wrinkles are in my big brain. Check this out. I just passed one hand through the other, and you'll never be able to figure out how I did it. 500 billion also happens to be how much money Nvidia just lost yesterday after DeepSeek slung its meat onto the scene. DeepSeek is a Chinese AI company that, in many cases, is actually more sophisticated than current AI models that we use, and it's open source. So this puppy fucking exploded onto the scene, #1 in the App Store. Everyone's gushing grannies over it because it is unbelievable. I learned about it a little bit last night on stream, but I've been doing a deep dive on it today. It is crazy, the scope of this, and just how far along this technology is already getting. Nvidia wasn't the only one that got hit with the frying pan. Yesterday, a huge blow to the stock market occurred because of DeepSeek. It is, like, it can't be overstated just how big of a deal this technology is. And the fact that it's open source is also massive. Now, it's worth mentioning as of making this video, Nvidia stock has rebounded in a big way, like $260 billion. And it's probably only going to keep pumping, it seems. But I mean, it's like they're just grabbing Xbox 360 achievements at this point. Largest collapse in a single day and largest rebound in a single day. But it is still a huge deal. And that hit they took wasn't, for no reason. And the rebound isn't for no reason either. But I think Nvidia is going to need to directly compete with DeepSeek now because DeepSeek has proven you don't need to just keep buying top-of-the-line equipment, more and more powerful chips to get this top-of-the-line performance. You can get that top-of-the-line performance without the biggest, baddest chips on the market. Yeah, almost $500 billion just got annihilated. It's like me in Path of Exile 2 when gambling, just losing all of my divine orbs. That just happened to Nvidia. Nvidia shares tanked 17%. The company lost a record $589 billion in market cap. Holy. Wow. Oh, man. Oh, their biggest shareholder went from 124 billion to 103 billion. He's in poverty like the rest of us now. How's he gonna survive? Yikes. Fucking brokey. Oracle also got hit hard. Start a GoFundMe for him? Yeah, we should. Chinese artificial intelligence company DeepSeek grabbing American attention and sending shockwaves through Wall Street due to its new tech, which some experts say rival that of OpenAI's ChatGPT. It's also catching investors off guard because of the low development costs for its API app, which Wedbush security analyst Dan Ives pegged at only $6 million. By comparison, OpenAI, Google, and other major US companies are on track to invest a total of roughly $1 trillion in AI over the coming years. Oh my god. These numbers just don't even feel real anymore. It just seems like actual nothing numbers, like fucking RuneScape gold. Now, to briefly explain why DeepSeek has just kind of fucking cowabunged onto the scene here and just administered a clobberin to some of the big boys in the industry, it's because its claims of how much more efficient it is, and its claims that they can back up. It uses cheaper chips, less powerful chips, so it's able to have a performance that matches or even in some cases exceeds AI that we currently have while using much cheaper chips. So obviously people are looking at this as, oh, well, maybe we don't need the creme de la creme top-of-the-line GPUs from Nvidia. If we're able to have DeepSeek here that is so efficient, utilizing cheaper chips. On its Chinese site, DeepSeek blamed large-scale malicious attacks on its service, requiring it to temporarily limit new registrations. Existing users can log in as usual. It rivals OpenAI's ChatGPT and Meta's Llama 3.1. It was #1 on Apple App Store over the weekend. It's built the model using reduced capability chips from Nvidia, which is impressive and thus has caused major agita for US tech stock. High praise. DeepSeek R1 is one of the most amazing and impressive breakthroughs I've ever seen, and as an open source, a profound gift to the world. So what does that mean? Who is this mysterious open source? Well, it means that, let's say I wanted DeepSeek. I could go get my grubby little paws on it and just download the model myself if my hardware was strong enough to run it. I imagine a lot of people aren't going to have hardware that's strong enough to run DeepSeek, but if you did, you could just hop on over and download the whole model and run it on your hardware. Now, as was mentioned in that article, they are claiming that there was a big cybersecurity attack on them, so they had to halt signups. But if you already had an account, you can still access DeepSeek. And from everything I've seen and read from those that do have access and have been using DeepSeek, it's very impressive. This isn't just a lot of phony baloney hype. It really is comparable to ChatGPT. And of course, it is a Chinese AI app. Thus, there is censorship. Big time. I've seen the biggest one, no surprise, Winnie the Pooh, which just always makes me giggle. You can't even mention Winnie the Pooh in Marvel Rivals. That is like the ultimate sin. Like, if you say Winnie the Pooh in Marvel Rivals, they probably write down your gamer tag and store it somewhere in like this, off-site hit list at the Marvel Rivals devs headquarters or something. And it's the same here with DeepSeek. I saw a few people goofing around with it, talking about Winnie the Pooh and Xi Jinping, and the model, in all the instances I saw, would not spit out anything for you. It wouldn't even noodle around with it. And in one case I saw it said that it was beyond its parameters. Winnie the Pooh and the Thousand Acre Wood is just too powerful for AI to comprehend. Too much honey. And in other cases I saw that it would talk about Winnie the Pooh, but if you tried to connect Winnie the Pooh to Xi Jinping, then it would apologize and say that it can't really get into that. It just, slam on the brakes there. Were you holding any Nvidia? I am not in the stock market, so no. Though I might get into the stock market now just to buy Nvidia. Oh, Nvidia already had a statement. DeepSeek is an excellent AI advancement and a perfect example of test time scaling. DeepSeek's work illustrates how new models can be created using that technique, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. Most groundbreaking thing about the AI is that it's cheaper to run, it can do the same things faster / as fast using less power and resources. That's the impressive part. Well, not only that, it being open source is big. You can run this AI on a toaster, it's game changing. You can download the large language model easily and use it privately on your computer. It no longer has insane power requirement. This whole thing is so fascinating to me. This is a company that has produced something for a handful of millions. From what I've read, it's like $6 million is what all up this has costs. And it is rivaling and even exceeding some of the other big boys on the block that cost billions. It's unbelievable, really. And I'm so curious to see how this continues to evolve. And the reason I harp on the open source so much is that I just always think that is such a step in the right direction to pushing industries, like the actual advancement of this kind of tech. Instead of like hoarding the Krabby Patty secret formula, the recipe or anything, by giving everyone access to it, especially when access to it is much easier because it's so much more efficient, more people can utilize it because they won't need such absurd computational power to use it. It's just, I'm just very curious to see where it goes, really. Yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on it, as I imagine most people in the world will be. It's a pretty fucking big deal. That's about it. See ya. Pal Charles, and well, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be singing a bit of a different tune today, and I know I'm usually known for my optimism, but I just heard the holly jolly news that one of only 3 RAM manufacturers is bowing out of selling RAM to ordinary average consumers. Instead, Micron wants to shift its focus to AI. Not an exaggeration, by the way. There is only 3 big holy, I'm porky pigging, I'm so upset. There is only 3 big RAM manufacturers out there, and Micron, crucial, they are now just bending over and taking the AI dick in the butt, and is instead just giving the big double middle finger to all ordinary consumers out there, which will obviously drive the price for RAM even higher. In an announcement on Wednesday, Micron says it's winding down its consumer-focused business and will improve supply and support for our larger strategic customers in faster-growing segments, aka AI companies. So every Joe Schmo out there I hope you're ready to start Googling how to download more RAM again like it's 2005, because it's about to get confusing with these prices. It's going to be bad. Now let's take a peek at the doomsday scroll here. Micron will continue crucial consumer product shipments through the consumer channel until the end of the fiscal Q2. Company will work closely with partners and customers through this transition and will provide continued warranty service and support for crucial products. Micron will continue to support the sale of Micron-branded enterprise products to commercial channel customers globally. The AI-driven growth in the data center has led to a surge in demand for memory and storage. Micron has made the difficult decision to exit crucial consumer business in order to improve supply and support for our larger strategic customers in faster-growing segments. Thanks to a passionate community of consumers, the Crucial brand has become synonymous with technical leadership, quality, and reliability of leading-edge memory and storage products. We would like to thank our millions of customers, hundreds of partners, and all of the Micron team members who have supported the Crucial journey for the last 29 years. Also, big fuck you, we're leaving. Thanks for making us all this money and making us a very attractive target for AI companies so we can suckle their fucking titties, and now you can suck our entire asshole. Bye, nerds. That part was ad-lib. That didn't come directly from the chief of business officer at Micron, but that's basically what he's saying. This decision reflects Micron's commitment to its ongoing portfolio transformation and the resulting alignment of its business to secular, profitable growth vectors in memory and storage. By concentrating on core enterprise and commercial segments, Micron aims to improve long-term business performance and create value for strategic got me tripping over my words, for strategic customers as well as stakeholders. Micron intends to reduce impact on team members due to this business decision through redeployment opportunities into existing open positions within the company. Understandably, this news hasn't exactly been a slam dunk here. It hasn't been received very positively from ordinary people because this is them hawking a loogie in your mouth. They are spitting on you. And I have a hunch that they're not exactly shedding tears over it. In fact, if I was to cosplay the upper echelon zombies in suits at the head of Micron, this is probably how they reacted to all of your blabbering about their decision. A whip and a nay-nay on that financial ruin, nerd. It is them just openly stating proudly, yeah, we're exiting the consumer space and instead just going to serve AI. It's more lucrative. Good luck. And that's it. They sail off into the sunset. The numbers I was seeing online, Micron accounted for 26% of this consumer market that they are now exiting. Pretty big shoes to fill. That's an awfully large hole. That's an awfully expensive gap that's going to be left with most likely a lot of pain in there for your average ordinary consumer. And here's something I've been saying for a while that a lot of people like to bite my ass for about being too doom and gloom, but it's only going to get worse. I've said this for a while, and people love to celebrate AI when it's replacing people's jobs that they don't like or they don't respect. Like recently, I saw a lot of people celebrating the AI dubbing from Amazon because it replaced voice actors they didn't like, so they were laughing, ha ha ha, you got replaced by AI, ha ha ha, won't happen to me, ha ha ha. No matter who you are, no matter what your job is, even if you don't have a job, even if you exist as a fucking slug man creature with shit-stained britches every day and night just cruising the internet, AI is indeed affecting you because this is not going to be the only company to make this decision, by the way, but even this company making this decision immediately fucking affects you, goofball, because you are now going to be paying more for your experience of if you build a PC or if you're even buying a PC or something. All of these things are getting more expensive as companies continue to bow down and swallow as much meat as possible to the AI overlords and forsake the ordinary consumers in the pursuit of this fucking nebulous idea of the future. And I've said since the very beginning, there is a lot of positives that can come from AI when it's utilized in sectors that make sense, such as in the medical field or for bulk data collection, stuff like that. There's a lot that we can benefit from as human beings, but it seems like the gold rush and where tons and tons of unfathomable amounts of money, oodles of cash is being poured into, are into the creative sector, where it's looking to replace humans for cheaper, where it's looking to get rid of humans in general because it's cheaper for companies to rely on AI once the technology is there. And what you're seeing here is an example of, in this pursuit, companies are going to start latching on because they can find more money by selling directly to these AI brands that are pursuing this, as opposed to even worrying about normal consumers. It's bad for everybody. I don't know why some people are struggling to come to terms with that or like plugging their ears to it. No matter who you are, no matter what you do or what you don't do, you are being affected mostly negatively by AI right now too, Buster. And like I said, I can't imagine this being the only company to make this decision. I'm not saying the other two RAM manufacturers are going to follow suit. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I have no way of knowing that. I just feel like this is the first domino to fall in what will likely be quite a few other big brands choosing AI over ordinary consumers. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are just getting started here with this fucking disaster. This shit is poop, man. It is so stinky. And it's like I said, only getting worse. Now, I don't even know why I feel the need to bring this up, but I'm going to anyway. I have, of course, seen cope with people defending this, saying that it is short-term pain for long-term gain, where they believe at some unspecified date into the future, this will actually be so good for consumers. We just have to grit our teeth and bear this for a little while, and it's going to be green pastures and sunshine and rainbows very soon. We'll be living in a utopia thanks to all of this. Yeah, Micron abandoning us may hurt now, but we have to look at it from their eyes. They can make a lot more money now, which means in the future, we can get things better. It'll be cheaper in the future. Somehow, once all these data centers are built and they're going to start caring about ordinary people then, and that's when it's great for us. We just have to wait until then. Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Would love that to be the case. Don't see that happening at all. This feels like it's short-term gain, long-term gain. Fuck you to the flesh and blood. AI is the future. Like, that feels like that is the entirety of this plan. Anyway, this is a joyous start to the impending RAM crisis. Big thanks to Micron. You guys really knocked it out of the park with this one. You nailed it. This is some good stuff. So, looks like 2026, we have our start date for the big problem in the consumer PC space. Get ready to start forking over huge clams in the near future. Really fucking terrible stuff. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering about it. That's about it. See ya.
Of GPU prices? I thought not. Not a story the AI bros would tell you. Well, I hope you're bending over because the suppository's coming in one way or the other. A recent report indicates that Nvidia is going to be pushing the prices of RTX 5090 up to 5K. This is still an unconfirmed rumor from an insider source in South Korea, from what I can understand. That's kind of like, you know, boots on the ground that's talking about it right now, which is where this headline is stemming from. Previous price was 2K. This is over double. That's an awfully hard bargain there. 5,000 clams for a GPU here. Not exactly an easy sell to most people, I would imagine. Most sensible, sane human beings on the planet would be pretty upset about that. Now again, this isn't fully confirmed, but what we do know is that, well, prices are probably going to be going up, which isn't all that surprising. I think most people were able to predict this. Don't need to be Baba Vanga to have that kind of future sight. We're already seeing it with RAM prices, and I gotta tell you, you might not like to hear this, but we're gonna rip the band-aid off. It's because of AI. Everything that was once good in your life, or everything that was reasonably priced in the tech sector, is getting significantly worse and significantly more expensive because of AI. If you want to keep plugging your ears to that fact, or just keep kicking the can down the road for the realization of AI having a supremely negative effect on your life, that's your call to make. But regardless, the sun still rises. The AI plague, the scourge, is coming. Whether you want to accept it or not doesn't matter. It is coming fast, aggressive, hard, and unlubed. It is raw. So I think it's best that you start paying attention to all of this now. Anyway, back to the regularly scheduled doom and gloom here. So the claim about the GPU prices from Nvidia and all that, it comes from Newsys, a South Korean outlet. It was stressed that we're just seeing the beginning of monumental and borderline ridiculous price hikes in the GPU space. The report explained that sources have suggested a climb in RTX 5090 stakes from $2,000 at launch this year to as much as $5K later in 2026.
AMD's RX 9000 series is apparently set to mimic that ticket growth, but not as steeply. The article also has a brief mention of the RAM prices, which I've also touched on and what I've also bitched about quite a few times now because of AI-driven data centers, and also one of only 3 RAM manufacturers just abandoning the consumer market come 2026 because they'd rather instead just exclusively sell and work with AI. So, yippee! That's great for all the normal people out there that want some technology in their homes. Hopefully you like fucking flint and steel and start learning the ways of the Amish, because soon technology will be a luxury you can't afford. It's crazy how as we get more and more advanced, it just starts to price people out. It's not getting cheaper, it's getting so much worse because of AI. And there's this crazy hopium, this fucking crackpot lunacy thought process that people have, that once these AI data centers are all established and all these companies, worth trillions, start slowing down a little bit, well, then everything's going to get so much cheaper and it's going to be great for all of us. It's just going to be short-term pain for the long-term gain. Because that always works. Trickle down has a great history. That is a fucking flawless. That's 100% win rate when it comes to trickle down. And not only that, we all know corporations love to lower their prices. So once they're set up and once they've made oodles unfathomable amounts of money, they'll definitely start lowering the prices for every average Joe Schmo out there. That happens all the time. They love lowering prices. We see it often because they are for the people. So it's clearly just a matter of time before everything's really affordable again in the tech sector. We just gotta wait for them to reach the golden age, and then it's all smooth sailing. We're in good shape. And until then, well, why don't you just go ahead and start renting computers? Yes, a subscription-based economy. Just start renting your PCs, because you don't need to own anything. Companies don't want you to own anything. You will own nothing and you will be happy. You can have the imagination of ownership with their little permission slip. You can license it for a certain amount of time, and that's all you need. You don't need any pesky ownership of anything, especially not a computer. I'm getting a little lost in the sauce of sarcasm. It's all bad. It's all really bad right now. It sucks. This wonderful little nugget of good news also comes on the heels of a previous blessing that Nvidia gave us, where it was announced that Nvidia might be cutting supply by up to 40% in 2026 due to memory shortages. I already talked about that, where there is the potential that Nvidia is going to be cutting back on supply by 30 to 40% come 2026. Very few things to be smiling about when it comes to the future of PC gaming, and not just PC gaming. I know everyone gets focused on that. This affects every industry in the tech space. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that means consoles will be the best option going forward too. And maybe they will be a more price-conscious option because PCs are looking to astronomically change in price. But those are also going to be affected too. The price on those is also going to be all cattywampus as well. It's just a matter of time. We don't know what that's going to look like, but it's going to happen. They use components that are exploding in price. So it's everything that's going to be affected, and it's not just gaming. It is literally everything in the tech space that uses these components, and guess what? That's pretty much everything in the tech space. Now, to revisit the article briefly about the GPU price soaring, both companies are reportedly planning to continue raising GPU prices every month going forward. It's highly likely that the price increases will extend across their entire product lineup, encompassing not only consumer GPUs, but also GPUs for AI data centers and servers. The average proportion of memory in the overall GPU manufacturing cost has recently exceeded 80%. This comes from the insider that's making these claims. Again, none of it's fully confirmed or anything, but it also wouldn't even fucking surprise me. 2K to 5K is an incredible leap, but it's also just not that unrealistic anymore, actually. Like, take for example something even simpler, like a Game Pass. They literally doubled the price of that product. Companies aren't really afraid to absolutely blow up their price because people still pay it. So they just say, fucking cowabunga and let it rip. So I do think 2 to 5K, while being astronomical, isn't something that's off the table. Now again, it's not confirmed. Maybe it won't be up to 5K. Price will increase, no doubt. But maybe it won't go up to that crazy level. Maybe it doesn't. But even still, it probably will be a sizable price increase that is just something to not look forward to. And
it's really like I'm not seeing any like good news coming in the future with all of this shit. Like it feels like it's only going to continue to spiral more and more out of control for just your average consumer. It just super sucks. And even the most adamant of deniers will eventually have that come to Jesus moment of, wow, I can't afford things now because of AI. This is having a detrimental impact on my life. It's going to happen at some point, but until then, I guess they'll just continue to AI generate trash Reddit tier fucking Keanu Reeves Deadpool videos out the wazoo till the cows come home, and then eventually they can't afford the computer to do that anymore. Yep, terrible stuff. Anyway, just wanted to yap about this a bit. That's it. See ya. With bad news out the wazoo. It seems like every story out there right now is overwhelmingly negative, and it can get exhausting. It can get overwhelming. So I wanted to do something a little bit different here and buck that trend and deliver some terrible news instead. Nvidia, with a nice little trick up their sleeve, just made a really cool announcement here about how the 50 series super refresh is delayed and the RTX 60 series might miss 2077, or also might miss 2077. In fact, we all might. AI will come in and just butt fuck us to death, but perhaps. But they might miss 2027, is the point. This is very unusual for Nvidia, but in the tech sector right now, it seems like there is a massive scramble to prioritize AI over the average consumer, so every consumer out there is getting just brutalized. They're playing a little game of your mouth, their spit, and we are the unwilling participants. They've shifted priority to AI chips instead because there is a limited supply of RAM currently available. Who knows what's responsible for that? It could be fucking anything out there, honestly. Am I right, sports fans? And they are also slashing the production of its current line of gaming chips. So just a nice little double whammy of bad news in what has become extremely common for Nvidia, which is nothing but bad news for consumers. Great news for their bottom line. They're making record-breaking profits right now, which, as history has taught us, will trickle down eventually to the rest of us. That I have no doubt on, so this is something to celebrate. Yeehaw! Big round of applause to Nvidia here for absolutely slapping the cheeks of consumers here and abandoning them to prioritize AI chips. It is working out for them money-wise, but it's looking real bad for just normal people who are getting priced out of fucking technology in general right now as the prices are skyrocketing. And this has been the trend when it comes to Nvidia. Anytime something new comes out about Nvidia and like anything consumer facing, it's not good. Don't just take my word for it though. Let's tune into Chinese Charles and see what he has to say about it on the front of Nvidia. There really hasn't been a whole lot of good news for average consumers when it comes to Nvidia and everything that we've been experiencing recently. This is in regards to the previous scare about the potential pricing for upcoming Nvidia product.
听说过关于 GPU 价格的悲剧吗？我想你没听过。这不是那些 AI 狂热。
Just realized I'm wearing the same shirt right now as I was back then. I'm an outfit repeater. Literally a fucking cartoon character, huh? I'm only ever wearing the same couple of shirts, it seems.
热粉会告诉你的故事，好吧？我希望你已经弯好腰准备好了，因为这枚栓剂横竖都是要塞进来的。最近的
Oh, what the hell is this? I do not have an account.
一份报告指出 ，Nvidia 打算将 RTX 5090的价格推高到$5000。这仍然是来自韩国业内人士的一个未经证实的传闻。
Couldn't have said it better myself. There has not been anything good coming from Nvidia recently. They've been a factory of fucking terrible news. Unless, of course, you're like a supreme AI cock gobbler and get excited about AI coming through and fucking you in the face. And in that case, you need to be institutionalized ASAP. Nvidia to delay new gaming chip due to memory chip shortage. Report claims Nvidia will not be releasing any new RTX gaming GPUs in 2026, and the 60 series likely debuting in 2028. In 2028? They want to rent computers out these days? Yeah, that's the next big wave that they're looking at, I know. We talked about it. Demand for GeForce RTX GPUs is strong, memory supply constrained. We continue to ship all GeForce SKUs and are working closely with our suppliers to maximize memory availability. Why is the memory not super available? What's going on? What's causing the shortage? Oh, that's so weird. Many expect Nvidia to announce RTX 50 series super refresh at CES 2026, but just before the event, Nvidia publicly announced they would not announce any new GPUs, a first for the company in 5 years. That was hype. CES had some awesome AI shit, though. The most recent CES.
Now hold your horses, I know what you're thinking. This can't be good for Nvidia to basically just abandon the consumer market. Well, it's not fully abandoning, but to be reducing their presence in the consumer market so drastically, and for the first time in a long time missing a launch and pushing everything back due to memory shortage and delay and everything like that. Surely that's going to hurt them, right? No, you fucking fool! And do you know why? AI. Every fucking tech company, scratch that, nay, every company is scrambling to find a way of getting its grubby paws into the AI sector. So that's what got us into the RAM shortage or the RAM crisis in the first place, with Micron formally announcing that they're exiting the consumer space in order to exclusively focus on the AI industry. Nvidia is prioritizing AI, and even just every company you can possibly fathom is doing everything they can to integrate AI and fucking weasel their way in there too, at the expense of consumers. Right now, everything is getting more expensive because of this. And it's not going to get cheaper anytime soon. I am not one of the people that believe the bubble's going to burst very quickly. I know there's reports of OpenAI running out of money by the end of 2027, all that kind of stuff. But even then, I still just don't even believe the bubble's going to burst. I think it's going to stay bad for a long time because they're pouring infinite money, endless amounts of cash into this imagination of AI here, this industry. So Nvidia isn't exactly shy about showcasing how little they need you and me, consumers. They can survive and make a killing, fucking oodles of doubloons off just focusing on AI and nothing else. So it's not really that big of a deal. It doesn't matter to them. And they're not alone. This is a very common sentiment. You're seeing all companies making this huge shift. And it's bad for average, normal people because even when something does come out, you're not going to be able to afford it because the prices are so fucking high now. It's a disaster. It sucks. And every time I see something new from Nvidia, it's just a bad news for normal people. It's crazy. How else would we get Chinese Charlie? True, at the end of the day, I think the RAM shortage is worth it for this.
厕所，那可不是什么紧张或者膝盖发软的迹象，那是严重的疾病症状，需要赶紧。
Where would we be if we didn't have the ability to do this?
See, there's a little bit of good news. Thanks to AI and the prices that we're suffering now, we at least get the pleasure of hearing Chinese Charles. So, you gotta take the good with the bad, right? That's pretty fucking awesome, am I right? That's some pretty cool shit. Oh man, it's wild. I had to yap about it. I've been yapping a lot about, everything that's happening in tech as a result of the AI boom and everyone doing everything they can to focus entirely on AI. You are seeing effects in every single area of your life at this point. You can't even go on the internet anymore without being inundated with AI and questioning what's real, what's fake now because of AI. You can't go on YouTube or, God forbid, Lord help us, Facebook, without just being blasted endlessly with AI. It's just tragic. It sucks, man. It's terrible. Anyway, just wanted to yap a little bit about it. That's really about it. See ya.